Cadillac. Yes, I am Cadillac Dixon. I am the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist. Girl, I can't get this right. It is my tablet strapped up on it, on this thing. I'm the legally blind artist. Now it's fuzzy. That is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping to see justice before all face to bled. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. So, anyways, today, girl, I'm gonna try my best to finish this picture. I only got about an hour because I am going to hang out with the kids today. I got a birthday party to take them to, Mr. Juju and Miss Araya. Gotta go home, let my sister get ready, get them, and go. So we're gonna finish this picture. I hope. I hope. Last two lives, I was working on the braids. I would be much further along with the painting if I weren't, chatting while or discussing while I'm drawing. But that's the whole magic of this. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's number one, making me work on my art, getting my stuff done. And then it's number two, I'm able to get my feelings out, talk about issues. It's something that is an incentive to just keep coming back doing these videos, right? But today, it's not going to be about criminal justice. It's going to be about injustice in other places, in other aspects of our life. And one of the hardest, because y'all know I have dealt with a lot of injustice in my life. And one of the biggest, hardest pieces of injustice I've had to deal with um, since 2016 is the wrongful outing of my mother due to neglect. Y'all hear me mention it. But today, I'm going to tell the story time. It is two reasons. I was supposed to do this video days ago. Um, Matter of fact, last week. Because as of May the 6th, this year, it made 7 years since my mother passed away due to negligence in the system, the health, health, health care system. That's almost as ironic as criminal justice. Oh, our systems. Um, so I told the story time back in, let's see, when was this? Okay, let's get back to the video. Oh, I didn't mean for it to start. Okay, so that was my old intro. This is from, it said, no, it cannot be from last year. No, because I didn't do this last year. I don't. Because last year, I don't think I was editing anymore. This is when I still was editing my videos. Um, the video has just audio only because the video, for some reason, I recorded on my sister's phone and that video would not upload. So I ended up having to, what I did was I had to, what you call it? I just got the audio, right? Okay, so we are going to listen to this. I'm not going to say too much because I think I told this story really super well. So we're just going to listen to this. First, it starts out with a song that I did for my mother called Live Your Life. Those were the last dying words, phrases, not the exact same words, but the last real heart to heart talk that we had just days before she passed away. So it starts out with my intro and then it goes into my video that I did for my mother, my song. called Live Your Life. She said, don't live your life for nobody, not money, not Marcello. Live your life, Keita. Live your life. Okay, let's play this. Girl, live your life. And that's the words that my mama say. But you won't live twice. You better make the best of every day. So I'm doing the fine. As if my name was Mary J. Walking on sunshine. And I don't care who out there throwing shade. I'm living my life. Life, 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 life. Your life, so live your life. Life, 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 life. I'm living my life. Life, 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 life. So live your life. Just live your life. Ain't on the red bull today. I'm high up light. No uh-oh, sorry. Energy clocking by 9. But I think I'm calling in today. And if they cut off my lights, give me a day. Have a candlelight dinner today. Cause I'm living my life. All is fine. The trouble's aside. Yeah, turbulence, but I'm enjoying my life. I'm living my life. All is fine. The trouble's aside. Hi guys, sorry I was trying to give you a video, but oh wow. I tried to upload the video. It will not upload for some reason. It keeps saying error, error, error. So I tried to airdrop the video to someone else's phone and upload it from there. And every time I try to do that, it keeps saying that they can't find the video. There's no videos on the phone to upload, which I know the video is on the phone and there's other videos. So I'm sorry, I am not going to be able to give you a video. The only thing I'm going to be able to do is give you the audio, even though I already recorded this video. So I'm going to go ahead and play the audio to this video. There we go. All right, here it is. Hi guys, what it is, it's your girl Cadillac. As you can see, I got on my Cadillac hoodie. I made this years ago. Painted every bit of it. I'll show you it in detail. I just got a story to tell you. This is a story time. Today is actually, well, this story time is gonna be about my mother's death. Today marks 5 years since my mother passed. 7 years now. I guess I'm gonna go there today. It's a lot of things that I try not to remember. I block out my mind because it brings me to that hurtful place. But there are so many unresolved feelings and issues. Y'all, I don't know what color I used on her skin. Ooh, so I am going to be trying out random color combinations. I don't know if I have to mix this color or what. But it's been literally too long ago since I worked on it that I don't even know what colors I used. So that's what I'm doing now. My mother and her passing. So today on, the anniversary of her death. That could be it. Let's try that. I'm going to release some things, and hopefully the rest of this day I will spend it celebrating her life. My mother was a scholar. She was so into education and learning. So I'm going to continue her legacy. Okay, so I wish you could have met my mother. Beautiful. My mother was so incredible. My mother comes from Chicago, Illinois. Her and my father, they moved here. I do have a Draw My Life that explains all that. If you would like to check that out, I'll leave that in the description box, the Draw My Life. So at a young age, she had me. Believe she had me she was 18 when she had me. She got married at 17. And our family relocated here to Florida. So my mother comes from a very rough area in Chicago, Illinois, and she always wanted better. She wanted better than what she had, and she always used to tell me, "Keita, use your head for more than a hat rack." Like, I used to hate when she would say that. Like, well, it makes no sense, but she believed in education. And she had me really young, and then after me, Years later, she total 5 kids. So education
So I don't know
basically
how
was
long.
on the back burner, but she always wanted to go back to school.
Oh,
She
that's
did.
too.
I did find
That's
some
too
of her
light from
things
the color
where
I
she
need.
took classes and stuff when I was a very young child. But she came here. She worked at a grocery store, very minimum wage job, and she just wanted better. So one day, my dad encouraged her to apply at AT&T, or it was a business. It was a business type job, a desk job, and this is something my mother never had.
Hmm.
My mother never had that type of job, so she said she was discouraged and like, why would they give me a job like that? And she passed the test. She worked for AT&T for years upon years, from the early 80s all the way up until she passed. Yes, she worked for years, years, years at AT&T. So she just worked there and she built herself up, moved up, moved up, moved up. And it came to the point, and I believe it was 2015, when my little sister was almost grown. She wasn't quite grown. My mother still had that anchoring in
Let's try
her for
those.
education. She always wanted to go to college,
For the
and
mix. I don't know
she
if I'm
went
gonna
back.
get the right color.
She was like 48 years old when she went back to school. She went back to school, and she decided that when she got in school, she loved it. I, school for me was rough, but for her, she loved school, and she was just achieving and achieving, and she was graduating and graduating. Like she went through her AS, and then she went through her bachelor's, and it was like I would go to visit Marcello, and I'd be like, I gotta leave because my mom's graduation. He's like, but how many times your mama gonna graduate? Like, mama was doing it. Yes, she got all the way up into her master's at age 53. My mother graduated, it was October the 31st, 2015, with her master's in business. And she had all she wanted to do. She said she wanted to be a professor. She wanted to be Professor Dixon. And she wanted to open a Chick fil A so that she wanted to um, run a Chick fil A that, so that her girls would always have a job. So those were her two dreams. And my mom was just so awesome. And me and her, she also wrote a business plan for us to do a t-shirt business together because I used to hand paint the t-shirts like this one. Um, and she was like, Keita, you're so awesome. It's just you do things wrong, which I keep telling y'all there's a missing link. I don't have the missing link. I feel like I do some amazing things, but there's something missing that makes it where it doesn't
Think
all
it's
come
gonna
together.
work? I don't
So
know.
me and my mother were gonna do a t-shirt business together. Okay, so
Looks close.
my mother actually is the reason why I went back to school. I don't know if I ever told that story. I think I did previously, but I don't know who's been, riding with me for a while. So I don't know if you know that story.
No.
But we were
So
at my
the
mother's for her
difference.
masters. We went
Uh,
out to eat with her, and my mother had a
hmm.
childhood friend from Chicago that came here shortly after. She didn't live in Chicago, but she came here shortly after to be, within the vicinity of my mother. But then they kind
Yeah,
of
that's not
lost
the same
contact or
color.
whatever, but they still talk. They were best friends.
Dang.
And this friend is all about education. She would get on the phone with you forever. So what you doing with your life? What you doing? Okay, so it happened that we're sitting at my mother's graduation, and all the younger people, she asks, so what are you going to do with your life? And they all give their answers, because when you're young, the sky is the freaking limit. There are no
Let's
limits.
put some of
You
this
can do
mustard
anything.
looking color
It's
in
not
there.
until you've actually started going after those dreams and failing and failing and failing that you start having, you start thinking, well, maybe I can't do that. and maybe I can't do that, and maybe that's where I am at, because it's not that I'm here saying that I can't do it just because I haven't tried it. I've tried everything, and nothing I've tried has been successful. So I'm coming from experience, and I dust myself off and I try something else. But nothing I've done has ever succeeded and ever prevailed or anything. So I deal with those mental blockages. So she asked me, she was like, Keita, so what are you going to do? I'm like, huh? I'm like in my late 30s, mid 30s at that point. What do you mean, what am I going to do? I'm doing what I'm doing. I work at a super center.
Hmm.
No, at that point, I was working at a theme park, but whoop de doo. And I spent most of my good years working at a super center. Um, what do you mean? I've always worked minimum wage jobs, never been able to make ends meet. So I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
know
do
how I'm gonna find this
pretty
color.
much anything. I tried to do cosmetology, best in my class, and then I'm riddled with carpal tunnel and nerve damage. So it's like it's almost I start feeling like every dream I have,
It's like a
the devil
yellowish
beats me to
mustard
the
like
punch and
color.
takes it away from me before I can
Let's
have
put
it.
a
So
little bit more of
I
this.
pretty much don't want anything anymore. So she's like,
That's
so what are you gonna do?
yellowish.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to college.
No.
I never meant that I was going back to college. I was just saying that so that they can move to the next person. So after my mom's dinner,
Hmm.
we took pictures, and I was so proud of her, so proud. And my mom was so happy. She was like, Keita, if I could do it, you could do it, and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, mom, but things just don't work out for me. They don't
They
work out.
don't.
So end up, I decide,
Unfortunately.
I, 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 I say I'm going back to college. I never meant it. So when that Monday came, I knew how my mother was. She was gonna ask me, and just so I hate I don't lie to my parents. I respect my parents to the utmost. So I didn't want to lie to my mom. So I had to go and research. So I was like, "Oh, mom." So I inquired on how do I
Oh, that's
re-enroll into
juju.
college,
I'm
because
sorry,
I
y'all.
had quit college a while back because I had my daughter, and then my child was going to
Hello.
prison, and I had to just
Yeah.
focus on how do I take care of my daughter and me. We didn't even
Yeah, in a little bit.
that that was shattering him being taken, because he was like actually taking care of his family. So I didn't know what to do after that. So I spent most of my time trying to make sure my daughter had and didn't lack for anything, and to take care of myself the best I could. So that meant just working overnight and struggling. That's what it was. So I left college in 2003. I think
Ugh,
was the last time that I was on that college roster. So I had to inquire, how do
I'm
I
so sleepy.
re-enroll? And it's like, well, you're still a student, but you've been gone forever, so you have to reactivate your student status. So I had to do that. It was so much back and forth. It was so many steps, and they're like, okay, now you have to apply for financial aid, and I'm like, I never meant to do all these steps. I swear, I never meant to, and it kept being one step, the next step. I applied for financial aid, and it was like, well, it's kind of too late, so you may not get it to the next semester. And if there was any hold in between it, I never would have made that first step. So then the financial aid comes through. Oh, you got this amount to go to school. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to school. So it's kind of in paper. But it actually was very difficult as well, because they needed my last transcripts, which my last transcripts were tied to that cosmetology school that did not exist. They turned those transcripts over to another school that no longer exists. So it was a bunch of back and forth, and then they finally found what my transcripts were, and I couldn't contact the person. I had to keep calling, keep calling. Finally, I sent an email like, "Can you please get me these transcripts?" So it was a
I
lot of
don't
work
know.
to
I'm
even
just
just
gonna
get
mix
my foot
colors
back
at this
into
point.
college.
I don't know.
So all of a sudden it happens that it's the first day of school, and I'm like freaking out. The first day of school, I'm in my mid 30s. I'm in class with 18, 19-year olds. I can't type. I have no skills. I've only done manual labor jobs. And my body's so riddled from these manual labor jobs. Like I used to unload trucks. I always did hard labor work. And
Look like
I
it
can't
could be
type. I have the
coming
corporal
together.
tunnel. I still have the corporal tunnel and the nerve damage. So I'm in class and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get out of here. I wish I could just disappear. This was the wrong thing. I'm gonna do this semester, and no, I'm out. This is not gonna happen. When went back to school and my mom seen me in school, she this was the first time in my life that I believe I made my mother proud. I was always the child, the one. There's one child with a parent that just can't get their life together. I'm the one that's with a prisoner. I'm the one that can't get their career right. I'm the one that can't make anything happen. I'm the one chasing
The
dreams of
failure of my
music and
family.
art, and nothing happens, so I'm the failure of the family.
Hmm.
I've always been the failure. I've always been the black sheep of the family, and I've always been the one that couldn't get their life in control. Even my little sisters have far surpassed me. So I think this was the first time that my mother was proud. She was so proud of me, and she had just got out of school, so she was kind of like chuckling at me, and she was like, see, this is why I needed help. Like, I used to help my mother write her English papers, so I was awesome at English. And she used to tell me, Keita, if you could help me with my work, why can't you do college? I'm like, no, mom, I can't do it. And this was the first time I made my mother proud. The first time.
I was looking
First
for
time in my
white because
whole
white would
30
have made
something
it
years of being on this earth.
a little
I believe
more
I made
like
her
the
proud.
ashier color.
And I went back to school. And when I went back to school, the first semester was so hard. We went through finals, and I just froze. And I was like, oh, I hate this. I can't believe I failed. And I ran home to my mother and was telling her what went on. And she was like, Keita, it's okay. It's probably not as bad as you think, and this and that. So I hadn't got my grade yet, and I had signed up for the new semester, and something was happening with that. They completely dropped me out of it. So I was like, that's where I was this point last year. So no, not last year. I'm so sorry. 2016. This point in 2016, I had just finished my first semester. End up, I did pass, and I went home and showed my mom, and she was so proud. I showed her my little rinky dink work I did in graphic design. It was not that great. But she was so proud. She was like, Keita, see, I told you you could do it. I told you you could do it. And I signed up for the next semester, and ended up that they dropped me from the class. So I hadn't told her that yet. Then I had issues like I was trying to get through school and take care of my child. My health went down. I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't sleeping properly. I would get maybe 2, 3 hours of sleep a day on a regular. This is a regular basis, not eating. Like I would go all freaking day and I'd be like, oh, shoot, I need to eat. So, not keeping track of anything. I ended up having high blood pressure from caffeine, from coffee, from energy drinks, just a whole
Let's put some of
long,
this
a
color
long
over
period of
here
time
so
of
it
not
can
taking
match.
care of myself. And I was marked as pre-diabetic. So I felt like the biggest failure. Now I've let my health fail. I was so scared to let my mother know. And I was just like, I could try to turn it around. I started exercising, losing a little weight. Um, and when I went back to the doctor, they took me out of that pre-diabetic stage because I was I'm a little bit into it, but not all the way. So they took me out of that stage and stuff like that. So my mother, she had just graduated and she wanted to open her Chick-fil-A, but before she opened her Chick-fil-A, she wanted to get her health right. She as well had just not too long ago been diagnosed as having diabetes, and she completely dropped off her weight. She started going to this clinic where they would help her and stuff like that. She was getting her diet under control, her health under control. But my mother always had an issue with kidney stones. She would always have kidney stones. So end up she had a kidney stone that was bothering her. They told her that that kidney stone was just, it was there, but it wouldn't really do anything. But I guess as she started losing weight and her body started changing, the kidney stone started bothering her. So she had to have she wanted to have a surgery to stop the pain to pass the kidney stone. So her surgery was scheduled, and she told me, she was like, Keita, I'm going to have surgery. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Like, huh? You didn't tell me. And she's like, Keita, I did tell you. I said, no, mom. You told everyone. You didn't tell me. I didn't know you was going to a surgery. So, and the last time I seen my mother up and alive and walking would have been, I believe that would have been May 4th, because we were in martial arts. And for some reason, this day I wasn't feeling going to martial arts class. Um, so my daughter was in martial arts, so I dropped her off, and I said that I would pick her up. So I dropped her off, and it was in the same parking lot as a Publix, and my mother always would shop at Publix and stuff. So as I'm going up in the Publix parking lot to turn around so that I could park in front of the martial arts to wait for my daughter to come out, I park and I see my mother, and I swear I'm like at the stop sign, you know where the entrance of the grocery store is? I'm at the stop sign, and she looked like the way she looked in my windshield, like my mother was crossing like over the car to go into the Publix. But when she looked at me, it was like almost as though she didn't know who I was. Like she was in a daze. And I swear it didn't look like she was walking. It looked like she floated across my car and went into the Publix. She said the reason she was going into Publix because my little nephew wanted some ice cream. And she knew that she wanted to make sure he had his ice cream. So this was the last time I see my mother walking. Was that day at Publix? Oh no! Right after that, we came. They came home. We had food or whatever, the ice cream that my nephew wanted and stuff, and we were just at the dining room or whatever. So that was actually the last time. So my mother was due to go to the surgery May 5th. That was her surgery day. Later that night, May 4th, my mother used to be in her office chair. My mother had just graduated college, and I was so
Excuse me
accustomed
again,
to my
guys.
mother, her light being on in her room, and she'd be knocked out, and I cut her light off, and she'd be like, Keita, I'm studying. I'm like, Mom, how you studying with your eyes closed? And she'd be like, I'm studying. So she would just be laying back in her little office chair with her legs up on the bed. So that's how I remember my mom many times. Not only was she in school, she was a Sunday school teacher. She was over so many things. My mother believed in all kinds of education. My mother had racks and racks of books that she read,
Hello.
relationship books, how to make the family better, budgeting.
All right.
If there was a
You
book
want?
about it, my mother was reading it. That's how my
All
mother
right.
was. And she believed in education like
Hold
100%.
on.
So
Let me.
even after her just getting her master's, she was
Hold on
even
a
talking
second.
of going back and getting her doctorate. You
All
know,
right, guys. So I think we're
but
gonna
she just
stop
wanted to get
right
her health
there.
in water at that
One,
time.
because Juju
So
is
I'm
waiting on
sitting
me
there.
to come pick
I
them
walk
up,
past
and
her
now
door,
I got a phone
and I
call,
see
and I
her
got to
in her
figure out
office
these
chair.
colors.
And
But
for
we'll be
me, it
back a
felt
little
like
bit
she,
later to work
like
on
something
this,
just
and we'll
wasn't quite
complete
right.
this
Like,
story time. I will link it
and
in the description
I
box if
just
you want
see
to
her
listen to it
there, and
separately. All
I
right,
wanted
guys,
in my
it's
heart
your
to say,
girl
"Oh,
Cadillac.
okay, like